Alright, finally we have all of the parts done and we're ready to do our assembly. For this assembly, most of our constraints will be insert, but we'll be using some mates as well. But the insert command is really an easy tool to use when you're talking about round objects. All I'd have to do is pick the round part on one side of my object and match that part on the next object that I want to apply it to. Then I can click apply and you can see that it's set up in there. Now one thing I'm going to want to do is on the train body, I'm going to ground it. The reason I do that is because now the train body won't move, and then any other part that I try to pull around from that train body will show me if it's actually stuck on the train body. Next thing from there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply the wheels. So I'm going to go constrain, click insert, and go around, and I can click on the back side of the wheel and I can apply it to the train body itself. If it went the wrong direction, all I've got to do is click on the other solution and it will go in the correct direction. Now that I have that applied, I can go ahead and I can try to apply the axle. There you go. You're going to see I've got both of them applied. They will spin around in the hole, but that's fine. That is what we want, is we just want them in there, because later on we're going to want the wheels to actually be able to move. And that's the way I prefer to put them in there, in that order. You can put them in there in just about any kind of order. I could truly go ahead and I could go to the axle. I can click the bottom side, I can click the wheel, apply that first, and then I could go to the wheel. Make sure I have the back side of the wheel. And then go apply it here. So it was a different order, but it still has the same results. From here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the linkage arm on the wheels. So I'm going to click on one side, apply this, and I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to move it in the right direction. And that way it's closer and easier for the computer to understand what way I want it to move. And this next one, I'm just going to use a mate command. You can see the axes will show me where that is in the center of the circle for each one, and I apply that. Now, generally I can use an insert, but I would like to use that command because it negates any issues with a part sticking further out. So if the top of this and the linkage arm don't line up, we don't have to worry about that. It just matters that the center of each circle lines up. And next, I can go ahead and then I can put the linkage pin where it belongs on each one. And I have one set of wheels done with its linkage arm. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and do the other side in the video. I'm going to let you do that on your own because it's the exact same thing as this side. I'm going to move on to other parts. So, next, let's just go ahead. I'll go use the magnet. Always make sure you go back to the insert command. I'm going to apply that. I'm going to go to the magnet peg. Put that on the back side. And you can see it just rotates and turns all the parts as needed into the areas where they belong. So I don't have to worry about rotating them ahead of time. They'll actually be turned in the correct direction after I apply my constraints. Okay, so I've got that. Next thing would be my cow catcher. Alright, now with the cow catcher, I'm going to use the pegs on the back to line everything up. Now this should work. Gotta go back to my project. Okay. Now this should work. All I've got to do is go ahead and I'm going to constrain one side on there, click apply, and then I'm going to turn so I can see the other peg. Make sure I'm back to insert. should be able to apply this on the other hole. Click apply, and then that will hold, and it'll be there as needed. Now, one trick about that is it may not actually work for you if those pegs are just the tiniest bit off. So instead of those constraints, I can go ahead, I'll just delete those constraints, and I could constrain the bottom of the cattle catcher to the bottom of the train, and then I could do the middle peg to the top hole. And what will happen is that will hold it in place as well, because it will stop it from rotating, and the insert gives me the exact placement of the part. So if I apply that, I get the same result, and I won't have any glitching problems just if it's a hair off. So there we go. I've got one side of the train done, the back and the front, and the stack. I'll let you finish the other side on your own. Next video, I'm going to show you how to put the train track on your train.